I picked up some chai tea because I think chai tea is like the most holiday-esque or like winter-esque, I guess. Yep, that's really good. Only thing is I need to make sure I don't knock it over. Maybe I should not have this on the board game table. I don't know if you guys can see this, but my sweater says gangster rapper. Fricka fricka fresh, man. Hi friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome back to the second part of the gifting garden. This is like my Christmas series this year, where I wanted to do a few videos recommending different games to you guys, whether that be the last video, which was introduction games, kind of games to introduce to people that aren't yet in the board game hobby but would like to get into it, or just people that want to casually game with you, your friends, your family, anything like that. So if you guys haven't gone and seen that video, I will put it up here if you want to go check that one out. But for today, we are going to be talking about 10 games that I recommend as next step games. So these are going to be games that, you know, you've gotten into the hobby, you've played some games, but you want that next step up. You want a little bit more of a challenge, and games that, you know, have a little bit more to them than your typical introduction game. And I have come up with 10 different games from our collection that I want to introduce to you or recommend to you if you've already heard of them. And yeah, all of these are from about 2.1 something to 2.9 something. So if you guys do not know, on boardgamegeek.com there is a weight rating or a difficulty rating from 1 to 5. So wherever in that span they are, that is kind of how difficult they are. So these are all in the 2 range. Once you get over the 3, I feel like they start getting a little bit more difficult and there's a lot going on. So I feel like the 2 range was a good place for next step games. And then maybe I will do next step games. I feel like I don't know what that would be. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping. We are going to get into this video. So if you guys want to see the 10 next step games that I recommend for you this holiday season, then just keep on watching and let's get into this video, shall we? Okay, so starting off with the first game that I recommend, this is actually, I'm going to be going from easiest to most difficult. So this is the easiest out of all of them. And this is actually the newest to me, and I think the most recently released one in this pile as well, and that is Flamecraft. I have talked about this a lot in a lot of recent videos, so I apologize if you're getting sick of me talking about Flamecraft, but I cannot shut up about it. I am in love with this game. This is Flamecraft. It is published by Cardboard Alchemy and Lucky Duck Games, and it's designed by Manny Vega. And basically in this game, if you like cute things, you are going to like Flamecraft. You are, I don't think you are the dragons, but you are someone helping out the dragons or working with the dragons, and you are placing, actually maybe you are a dragon, because you are, like, the meeple that you use is a dragon. So I guess you're one of the dragons. You're one of the artisan dragons. You're going to different shops and you're going to be getting resources as well as placing a dragon if you have one in your hand. You're placing a dragon in a shop and then firing off one of those dragons for their different abilities. Some of them give you more resources. Some of them give you different things. Like if you give another player a resource, you will get a victory point. And then you're also trying to get these enchantments that you're trading in those resources for, and then placing that enchantment in one of the shops. And then you're able to actually fire off all 3 of the dragons in that shop in order to get even more resources and more abilities and things like that. There are also fancy dragons that are like overall like objectives that you're trying to do either during the game or at the end of the game. And it is just such a fun little game. This one is a great one to start with. Flamecraft, if you can find it, I definitely recommend it. It is absolutely amazing. Moving into the second game, this is a very fun worker placement and polyomino tile placement game. This is 10 Penny Parks. This is published by Thunderworks Games and it is designed by Nate Linhart, and this game is so much fun. Basically, you are a owner of an amusement park and you are building out your amusement park by getting different rides and getting income. At the end of the game, everyone is going to be adding up their victory points, which I believe is guests technically. and whoever has the most is the winner. I really enjoy this one because it does combine two of my favorite mechanisms, which is worker placement as well as polyomino tile placement. But this one is different because you are actually not allowed to place two polyomino tiles right beside each other. You're not allowed to have them like that. You have to have them corner to corner. So it's a little bit more difficult to spatially work out where to place things, because normally in polyomino tile placement games, you're trying to fit them all perfectly together, but in this one, you want them corner to corner and you can't fit them perfectly together. So it's interesting in that way. I really enjoy the worker placement and getting the different rides. The art by, I believe, Vincent Dutrait is absolutely amazing. I don't know if I said his last name right, but he is very, very talented. And also they have like some tracks that you're going up, and if you're the farthest on a track at the end of a round, you get some bonuses and stuff like that. So overall, I really, really enjoy Tenpenny Parks, and I think it is my favorite in this like theming, the whole like theme park type of game. If you have any other recommendations for theme park games, I really enjoy them. I have both Tenpenny Parks and Funfair, and I really enjoy that one. There are a few other ones that I want to try, but yes, that is Tenpenny Parks. Moving into game number 3, this is much like Tenpenny Parks, a polyomino style game, and that is the Isle of Cats. This is published by the City of Games and designed by Frank West, and I adore this game. This game, actually, I think all 3 of the ones that I have mentioned so far can be played solo, so that is awesome. But in the Isle of Cats, you are going to be drafting cards. Some of the cards give you baskets in order to pick up cats, which are in little polyomino shapes, and you are fitting those cats onto a ship. And I think the story is that there is some bad guy coming to the island of cats, and he's going to be destroying the island. So you're trying to save as many cats as possible on your ship and leave before he gets there. So each round you're going to be drafting all of these cards and then using those cards in order to get as many cats as possible. You are using fish in order to get these cats, and there's different cards that you can draft. There's Oshak cats, which are kind of like wild cats, so you can use them as any color, and you're trying to get the largest groups of different colored cats to score the like families of cats. The more cats in a family, the more points you get. And there's also like treasures that you can put on to fill in the smaller spaces, and you are trying to fit as many things onto that ship as possible. So unlike Tenpenny Parks, where you don't want to have the edges touch, in the Isle of Cats, you are trying to fit all of your polyomino style tiles just perfectly in your ship in order to fit the most things. And yeah, I absolutely adore this one. It is a lot of fun solo. It has this really fun solo variant where you're playing against your sister and she's trying to take credit for all of the things that you're doing. So you're kind of like switching up your strategy based off of what your sister is trying to do. So it's very, very fun. Absolutely love this one. That is the Isle of Cats, and that is game number 3. Game number 4 is actually a game that I have not talked about in quite a while, and this back in November of 2021 was in my top 10, and for some reason it just dropped off, and I have not played it in so long, and I need to play this game again because I adore this game and I love this game. It is a deduction game, which is a lot different than a lot of these games here. But that game is The Search for Planet X. This is published by Renegade Game Studios and I believe Foxtrot Games. And it is designed by Ben Rossett and Matthew O'Malley. And this is, like I said, a deduction game where you are trying to figure out where Planet X is. And I need to play this game again. I love this game so much. Basically, you start off with your own sheet and you have this main board, which is kind of looks like a pizza. It's a outer space or like just galaxy kind of thing. And it is split up into a bunch of slices, and in each slice there's going to be one specific thing. So in one slice there could be an asteroid, in the next one there could be empty space, in the next one it could be Planet X, and all of these different things have specific ways that they're placed. Meteors, I believe, need to be in either a group of 4 all together or in 2 groups of 2. The comets need to be across from one another in the pie shapes. So there's a bunch of different things that you are trying to deduce in order to figure out where Planet X is. It is app integrated as well, so you have this app that you're going to be using in order to search different segments, in order to find what is in those segments and deduce what could be in the other segments. You can also do research, which allows you to kind of find out different things about the different items in each of the segments. So for example, you could find out that, oh, the meteors don't have any dwarf planets on either side of them or adjacent to them. So you could write that down and figure out if that could help you to deduce something in the end. And it is just so much fun. All the different actions have different amounts of spaces that you have to move. I have not played this solo yet, but it is soloable, which is awesome. It can play 1 to 4 players, and it is just a fun deduction, puzzle, logic deduction. And like I said, really want to play this one again. But that is the Search for Planet X. Moving into game number 5. This is a game that, unlike the Search for Planet X, I have talked about so much here on the channel, and I'm sure you guys are sick of me talking about it, but that is one of my favorite games. This was in my top 10, and this is Above and Below. This is designed by Ryan Lockett and published by Red Raven Games, and this was one of my favorite games ever. I love this game so much. I was kind of in between putting this on an intro list and for a next step, but I do think this is a next step game. I think I might have put it on intro games in a past list, but I do think it is a next step game just because it is in that 2 range of weight on Board Game Geek. I do think it is that, but overall it is a pretty simple game, and it is a great way to get into more storytelling games. This has a great book where you're going on different quests, and depending on the number rolled, you look into one of the quest books, and Penny has joined me down here. You can probably hear her scratching, but you open to a specific number and someone reads off a paragraph for you and kind of puts you into this really fun world of Arzium, which is the universe that Ryan Lockett has created. And yeah, in this game you have a little tribe, and you have a bunch of different people that you're using to do different actions. You can build buildings, you can go on quests like I mentioned, you can what else can you do? You can go forage for different things. What else can you do in this game? It's been a while since I played this. You can go on a quest, you can forage, you can build. Oh, you can get some more people. You can what is it called? Recruit different people to your tribe to gain more actions on your turn. And then I believe you can also just sell or go to work and get some money. So it is a very fun one. A little bit of not so much set collection, but tableau building, a little bit of resource management and things like that, and a lot of storytelling, which I really enjoy. So that is Above and Below. I absolutely love this one. If you do enjoy something like this, I also do recommend Near and Far. It is the next in this series, so maybe if this one sounds a little bit too simple for you, you could opt for Near and Far, which is pretty similar but a little bit different, with more worker placement and some more going on an adventure kind of thing. So that is everything for Above and Below. That is the first half of the games, so let's move on to the second half. Moving into game number 6, this is another one I've talked about a few times here on the channel, but I absolutely love, and that is Honey Buzz. This is designed by Paul Salmon and published by Elf Creek Games. And in Honey Buzz, it is another worker placement, tile placement game where you are trying to, I believe, impress the queen bee. There's different queens contests, which are objectives that you're trying to achieve. And you are placing your little worker bees, or your beeples as people call them. You're placing it on a space to get a certain type of tile, and then you're placing that tile into your hive. And the really fun thing about this game, it's very different. I've never seen anything like this, and I absolutely love it. But the tiles are basically hexagons. They are 2 hexagons attached to each other. You guys will see in the B-roll. But once you have created a full hex, that is when you can actually trigger all of the actions in that hex. So there might be, 3 or 4 different actions that you're going to be doing. There's things like getting more beeples, so more workers for you to use. You can fulfill orders. You can do the fan action, which actually is connected to foraging, which is another action where you are taking a nectar tile, and those nectar tiles are able to go into the center of that hex. And if you use the fan, that's kind of like you pollinating that nectar, and you can add one of the little like squishy nectar resources on there, and then you are going to be using those to fulfill orders. And it is just such a fun game. I love the really unique mechanism of the hexes and stuff like that, and also placing your beeples and getting those tiles and triggering all of those different actions. And I just love this game so much. That is our number 6. That is Honey Buzz. And I will add that there is a expansion for that called Fall Flavors coming out, which I'm very excited about. Hoping to get that when it comes to retail, if it does, once the Kickstarter fulfills, but it adds in some more things, which I'm so excited about. But yes, that is number 6, Honey Buzz. Now the next 2 are actually both roll and writes, which is very fun. These are more like next step roll and writes. I feel like a lot of the roll and writes that we have are all ones that you can kind of introduce to most people, but these ones are a little bit more crunchy. I would say that these ones are like, mid crunchy games. So these are perfect for next step kind of roll and writes. But the first one I wanted to talk about is Three Sisters. This is published by 25th Century Games and Motor City Games, and it is designed by Ben Pinchback and Matt Riddle. And in this one, you are gardening. You are gardening 3 different things. I think it's pumpkins. I always forget what it is. Pumpkins, corn, and beans, because apparently those 3 things work out really nicely when you put them all in the same garden. But basically on your turn, dice are going to be rolled and then placed in ascending order on this rondelle. And then on your turn, you're going to be taking one of those dice and then using that number to plant in that specific number garden. I think there's like 6 gardens, obviously 1 through 6 for the die numbers. And then wherever that die was on the rondelle, you're going to be taking an additional action for wherever that die was that you took. And it is a very fun game. It also plays solo. I think all of these games that I'm talking about today can be played solo. The only one that doesn't have a solo variant but has a fan-made solo variant is Above and Below. But I think every other game in this list can be played solo, which is amazing. Actually, all of them can. It's just Above and Below has a fan-made one. But anyways, the solo variant for Three Sisters is very fun. You're playing against a farmer. Her name is Farmer Edith, and she's trying to destroy your crops and stuff. It's a good time. Actually, it's not a good time because she is a pain in your butt, but yes. Anyways, it is a very fun roll and write, a little bit more crunchy than your typical roll and write, so I think it is a great next step one, and I definitely recommend it. There's also Fleet the Dice game, which is from the same designers, and it's very similar in gameplay. It's just a little bit of a different theme with slightly different things throughout, but overall both of them are absolutely amazing and I definitely recommend. So that is Three Sisters. Moving into the next game, like I mentioned, this is another roll and write, another slightly more crunchy roll and write, and that is Dinosaur Island Rar and Write. This is published by Pandasaurus Games and designed by Brian Lewis, David McGregor, and Marissa Misura, and it is a roll and write where you are rolling these dice, you are drafting them, and whatever dice you are taking, you are getting the resources on those die. A lot of them are going to be, what are they called? Not like molecules, but different things that you're going to be combining in order to create dinosaurs, I think. They're not molecules. I'll put whatever they are here. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I forget what it's called. But you are putting different species of dinosaurs into your park. There's a little bit of like a polyomino part of this game, which I really enjoy, where you're drawing different polyomino shapes into your park in order to do tours throughout the park to get money and stuff like that. You can build different buildings in your park and, like I said, get different dinosaurs. You can build up threat, which you can kind of mitigate by getting security and stuff like that so people don't die. But overall, it is a very, very fun one. Love this one. This is the only one in like the dinosaur series from Pandasaurus game I've ever tried. Just the smaller version like this, but there is Dinosaur Island as well as Dinosaur World, and I would love to try those eventually, but this one is scratching that itch of that like dinosaur theme park kind of vibe that I really, really enjoy. So yes, that is everything. That is Dinosaur Island Rar and Right. Moving into the last two games on the list, like I mentioned, we are going from easiest to most difficult. So these two are the most difficult on the list, but I still do feel like these are both approachable games for people that have been in the hobby for a little bit and want to take it a little bit further. But the first one is going to be Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. So this is published by Stronghold Games and also Fricks Games, I believe is how you pronounce it. And it is designed by Jacob Frixelis, I think is his last name, as well as Nick Little and Sydney Engelstein. And yeah, so this is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. This is a slightly easier, more approachable version of Terraforming Mars. I've never played Terraforming Mars before, but both Francis and I really, really enjoy. Francis is my partner, if you guys do not know. But we both really, really enjoy this one. It is a pure tableau builder with a really fun action mechanism, or yeah, action selection mechanism, I guess is what you call it. But you have these 5 different cards, which are 5 different phases, and you're going to be picking one of those phases, placing it face down. Everyone else is as well, and then they're all going to be flipping them over at the same time, and whatever phases were chosen are the phases that you're going to do. But you're not going to do the same phase twice if 2 people have flipped it over. You're only going to do that phase once. So it all depends on what gets flipped. If everyone flips over the same one, you're going to be doing that one phase one time and that is it. So you're kind of hoping that you pick a different phase than everyone else so you guys can do as many things on your turn as possible. But basically you are trying to make Mars inhabitable by you're all different companies, I believe, and you're trying to not really work together. There is an expansion that's coming out that makes it cooperative, but I think you're all trying to do it and you're trying to do it the best, I think. You're trying to raise the temperature, you're trying to raise the oxygen, and you're trying to create oceans in order to, like I said, make Mars inhabitable. And basically you are doing those different phases, you are playing cards down by spending money, and you're getting different resources and playing out these different cards that get you different things, different victory points and stuff like that. It's a little bit more difficult to explain, but overall you are literally just playing a bunch of cards in front of you and trying to do as many things as possible. It's quite an engine builder because as you build up your tableau, you're building up this engine and it's allowing you to get cards in easier ways, and you are gaining production and different things on your little player board, and it is just such a good one. Definitely one that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I do, but I really, really do enjoy Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. Moving into the last game, this is a classic. This is one of my favorite games these days. I think since doing my top 20, this game has shot up quite a bit, and I do think that this would be in my top 10, if not even my top 5. I don't know, but I've been really recently loving this one, and that is the wonderful Castles of Burgundy. I freaking love this game. This is a classic tile placing game. It is published by Ravensburger and Aaliyah, and it is designed by Stefan Feld. And like I said, this is a classic. It's been around for a while, and a lot of people enjoy this one. But before we do get into how the game plays and why I recommend it, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, which this game is kind of a little bit of segue into that, and that is the World Series of Board Gaming. Huge thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. But if you've never heard of the World Series of Board Gaming, it is an event that just recently happened in September of last year. No, September of this year, and it is happening September of next year. and I am so excited about this event. I actually watched a ton of the live streams for this event. It is basically an event where people are coming together to compete in different board games. There are 16 different board games that you can compete in, and Castles of Burgundy is going to be one next year, which honestly, I think I would want to compete in that. I feel like I'm pretty good at Castles of Burgundy. I have won a lot of Castles of Burgundy games on BGA recently. I've been getting better at it, been getting my strategy on, and it is one of my favorite games. So I feel like if I did compete in a game at the World Series of Board Gaming, it would be the Castles of Burgundy. But like I said, there are 16 games that you can compete in, things like Seven Wonders. I do have the list down here. Seven Wonders, Acquire, Azul, Arc Nova, Brass Birmingham, Patchwork, the Castles of Burgundy, Cascadia, Dune Imperium, Gaia Project, Great Western Trail, Raw, Splendor, Terraforming Mars, Ticket to Ride, and Wingspan. So there is a huge span of a bunch of different games, from easier games to harder games, and you can compete in one of these games or multiple of these games in order to possibly win this really cool Super Bowl style ring that is valued up to $2,000. And then once you do win that, you could go on to possibly win all the way up to $25,000 if you make your way all the way up to Grand Champion. And it just sounds like such a fantastic event. I saw a bunch of coverage on it from this past year, and I think the event next year is going to be even better. A lot of what I saw was that a lot of people were really kind. You'd think in this kind of competitive space, a lot of people would be a little bit more mean, but it seemed like a really fun, uplifting, positive experience with just a little bit of competition, which I really enjoy. There are also like off or like side competitions or side tournaments that you can take part in where you can win some smaller prizes. They also have the game library from Dice Tower West, so it's really fun. You can just go there and play games. You can go there and compete. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. I think this would be great to gift to someone in your life or even to yourself this holiday season. So I will have a link down below to that. I will mention that it is an affiliate link, so if you do use it, it does benefit me slightly, and it may also help me get to the event next year as well, and I would love to do that, maybe to meet some of you, as well as possibly compete in Castles of Burgundy. We will see, but I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd win, but it would be fun to try. But anyways, yes, that is everything for the World Series of Board Gaming. Huge thank you to them again for sponsoring today's video. But back to the Castles of Burgundy, which is one of the games that you can compete in at WSBG. But yes, Castles of Burgundy is a tile placement game, which the overall rules for the Castles of Burgundy is very easy. On your turn, you have 2 die, and you're going to be doing 2 actions with those 2 die. You can either get a tile from the main board. There are 6 different depots on the main board that you can take a tile from and then place into your storage. And then you can also use a die to take one of the tiles from your storage and place it somewhere in your duchy. And in your duchy, there is a bunch of different spaces that have specific dice numbers, so you have to place those tiles in those specific spaces. There are a bunch of different colors of tiles, and each of the tiles do something different in order for you to get some victory points. And I really enjoy just the puzzle of placing the different tiles and trying to get the most victory points in different ways and filling up the different colored spaces or like colored groups. So yes, that is everything for the Castles of Burgundy. There's different ways that you can use it. You can sell goods, you can get workers to mitigate or change the numbers on your die. But yes, that is everything for the Castles of Burgundy, the last in the Next Step games I recommend. Okay friends, so that is going to be everything for today's gifting garden. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing all of these Next Step games that I recommend. I don't know if you guys can see, but the entire pile is all the way up to where my table is. So it is a big stack, but all of these games I absolutely love and definitely recommend you check out if you haven't already. But if you did enjoy the video, definitely give it a big thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button if you've yet to do so. I would love to have you here in the garden. We again are so close to 10,000 subscribers. That is my goal for the end of 2022, is to hit that 10,000 mark. If we don't, that is totally fine. But if you're not part of the garden yet, I would love you to be part of the garden. Also comment down below any games that you also recommend for people looking for Next Step games. Any games within that like 2-point range I feel like is a great space for next step games, or just games for people in the hobby or just like getting into the hobby that want that next step up, that next challenge in a board game. Definitely let me know and everyone else know down below if you have any other recommendations. But that is going to be everything for me. I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends. Surprise! We are back with another gifting garden giveaway, guys. That is a lot of G's in a row. But today I'm going to be giving away a game that I think is another great next step game. I did actually have this in the list, but I took it out because it is just going to be number 11, and we're going to be giving it away. And that is Architects of the West Kingdom. This is by Garfield Games as well as Renegade Game Studios, and I absolutely love this game. This is a next step game for me for sure. I believe this is towards the top. I think it was like a 2.7 something or 2.8 something, but it is overall just a really amazing worker placement game where you are trying to get the most victory points by building buildings. You are placing workers. This is a little bit different than a typical worker placement game where you're placing workers, and the more workers that you place, the more resources you get. But then your opponents can actually put your workers in jail. So it's actually like taking workers away from you, and you have to get them back. So overall, this is a fantastic next step game. I think this is the easiest, people say, in the West Kingdom series. So I'm going to be giving this away today. I don't want to chat about it too long, but if you do want to enter in to get this copy of Architects of the West Kingdom, all you have to do is comment down below. Obviously you have to be subscribed here to the channel, but then comment down below any comment that has the word, elf in it. I think that'll be fun. I had so much fun going through all the comments in the last giveaway where you guys had to put Santa in the comment. So many people had some really funny Santa comments. So let's see what we can do with the word elf, guys. It'll be fun. Unfortunately, this is only open to people in Canada and the US just for shipping purposes. I do have to pay for shipping myself for this, guys. So I don't want to have to spend too much money and go poor doing these giveaways. So very sorry to those of you in international countries. But yes, that is everything for this little giveaway segment. All you have to do is be subscribed and then comment down below with the word elf. I am very excited to see all your comments. But yeah, good luck to everyone and happy holidays, y'all. I forget what I said in the last one. Howdy diddy ho, happy holidays, y'all. Okay, goodbye.